So you decided you might want to grow some vegetables. There are many reasons why we may decide to grow our own veggies. Healthier food for our families, involve children and grandchildren in learning where our food comes from and the science of growing, etc. And the next slide shows why many of us now are growing some of our own food. For thousands of years, we've been breeding the medicine out of our food. Industrialization of our food has brought a loss of flavor as well as nutrients. It now takes 35 bunches of spinach to equal what one bunch did 50 years ago. Fruits and vegetables grown decades ago were much richer in vitamins and minerals than the varieties most of us get today. Think about how long it takes for a cluster of grapes to get from Chile to our supermarkets. The main culprit in this disturbing trend is soil depletion. Agricultural practices have focused on improving things like size, growth rate, and pest resistance, and not focused on nutrition. If you're just getting started and considering traditional gardens, what do you want to grow for what size of family? And do you choose an in-ground garden or raised beds? For a family of 4, you would need 20 by 40 feet of ground space to grow enough food for all year. 2 4 by 8 raised beds would provide food for about half the amount needed for a family of 4. Consideration of space as well as in-ground or raised beds tops the list of your decisions if you're considering a traditional garden. Then after you decide to make the time commitment to plant a garden and you've decided on in-ground or raised bed, what's next? After determining what kind of soil you have, you need to decide what enrichment it may need and then how to get the material into the garden, tilling with a rototiller or the double digging method. There are many YouTube videos explaining the double digging method. This method of starting plants is a little more problematic because of the elements we don't have control over, like the weather, too hot, too cold, too much rain, not enough rain. And sowing seeds directly into the soil brings many problems, such as birds pecking at the emerging plants, and the young seedlings are also more susceptible to insects and soil-borne diseases as well. Growing seeds indoors is one way of starting your garden, and it can be started when the weather is still too cold to plant outdoors. One of the bigger advantages is succession planting. When one crop is finished, if you've started early enough, you can replant and have a second harvest. What I've found with growing with a tower garden is that it's easy and effortless, and it also eliminates the need for soil testing, for digging, for amending the soil, and it eliminates soil-related pests and diseases. So it makes it easier to plant, fertilize, irrigate, harvest, and one of the added benefits that many people mention is what a wonderful flowing water feature is added to your home environment. Now, the tower on the left is designed to use outdoors, and in most of the San Francisco Bay Area, we're fortunate to be able to grow all year outdoors. It has space for 20 plants and has a 20-gallon reservoir. The monthly no-interest payment for 1 year for the flex pictured on the left is $52, and the home with lights is $81. They're both grown without soil, have faster production and more fruit, use less space and water, and we can grow all year in any climate with the home. You may hear my home running in the background if you hear running water. A new feature of the home tower is smaller pots at the top for growing microgreens. The reservoir of the home tower has a streamlined design with 13-gallon capacity, and the wheels are attached for easy movement. It also has another new feature, which I really love, an indicator that lets you know when to add more water. Plants recommended to grow in Tower Garden Home are baby greens, herbs, and larger greens like spinach, chard, and kale. Growing your own plants from seeds is a pretty easy process. When growing your own, seedlings are ready to be moved to the tower when the roots are showing through the bottom of the rock wall. Another option is third-party growers who provide seedlings and rock wall ready to be placed in the outdoor flex system. Now, we know about the greater yield with tower garden growing because of the research that was done at the University of Mississippi. These are just some of the results. I love that I know I will get 65% more red kale and 35% more cherry tomatoes with a tower garden. And just look at all the vegetables you can grow in a tower, from arugula to all types of melons or many varieties of tomatoes. And check out all the herbs, borage, lemongrass, or thyme. And you can add flowers to the mix as well. I usually grow marigolds and nasturtiums. Now, we love coaching our clients and enjoy doing it, but there are also many free resources available for you on the juiceplus.com website. Some blogs are how to grow specific plants. There are 28 garden planning blogs, 25 on indoor gardening, and 15 specifically on urban gardens. There are even free lesson plans for teachers using towers in their classrooms that were developed by Seton Hall University. From discussions on the technology of aeroponics involving kids in growing, and a complete guide for beginners new to growing their own food, the Tower Garden website is full of information. Now, this next slide is just for fun. After you get your tower garden producing, you may experience a tree frog taking up residence in your tower garden hotel. A frog's skin is very sensitive to chemicals, so if you find a frog chirping in your tower garden, it's an indicator of a healthy environment. They sleep by day and hunt insects at night. When it came time to clean my tower, my resident frog decided to jump to the next tower and promptly hid in the nasturtium vines. Next month, our presentation is called Eating on the Wild Side. We'll be examining information on which fruits and vegetables are the antioxidant powerhouses and so much more. And there will be a lot of fun food facts, like who knew that when you tear up lettuce, it thinks it's being attacked, so it spews out more phytonutrients, making it have more bang for the buck nutritionally. So today's tip: after you tear up your lettuce, start for 12 or 24 hours in the refrigerator before using. And we'll open it up for questions now.